All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're ready. I'm going to say it again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Evan and Aaron Show presents the Red and the Blue Soccer Chat. We are your hosts. My name's Evan. This right here is Ern. Hey, Ron. Hey, Ron. I think our teams didn't mess up. They didn't mess up. Not too bad. Not too bad. We're here on a Wednesday night at Chatham Tap Fishers, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. This is one of those shows that is it a full moon? I mean, I think it is, or a new moon or something like that. It just is kind of weird whenever I think we're going to talk about our teams, man, because they've been up and they've been down.
Yep,
and
that is true.
You know, I think that symbolizes a lot of how people are feeling. I don't know. From the people I work with every day, it just seems like things are off. Like things are kind of off, and people are kind of like, I don't know, just I don't know. They're feeling like they're in a funk. I don't know. How have you been, man? Have you been like okay? Like you just felt like you've been in a funk or what, man?
I'm doing okay. The upbeat weather has been helping out a little bit.
Oh God, yes.
Normally this time of year can be kind of the grabies, if you will.
Oh,
and
can we
kind of get you down
the grabies?
The grabies. I don't think we can.
Damn it.
No, doing okay. I know you're working on the doctoral thesis and all that, man. So we'll have to call him doctor at some point.
No, you don't. No, I'll be the type of doctor that doesn't help people.
Dr. Evan. Dr. Evan. No, you're
no.
Buddy, you are helping people. You are an educator.
I try.
And you are bringing the truth to the masses.
Oh, man. Appreciate that.
Especially via drunken email occasionally.
Hey! Wait, what? Did I do that? Oh, God, I think I did.
You did.
Okay.
You responded to a student via email.
I did.
Cat out of the bag, Catholics.
Man, good thing I work at Notre Dame University of Notre Dame.
Right, yeah.
Just kidding. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it started.
Good thing I'm on the state of Minnesota project.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
so
let's go to London first. Let's go to London first. Let's go to London. Yes.
This has been a decent little run for Chelsea right now. So
okay.
I want to. I have some questions, but let's go ahead and get your thoughts on their performances recently.
Sure.
A couple wins on the trot there in the cup competitions in the league.
Yep.
Looking good. And then we had to go to the Etihad.
Yes.
To visit Manchester City. What's your take on that particular game?
Well, we haven't had a show since the end of January. You realize that, right?
True. We are a long way.
We've been out for a little bit. So the beginning of February sucked.
Mm-hmm.
At the bridge, Wolves got us 4-2.
Mm-hmm. 2 games in a row given up.
We
4 to the opposition.
Yeah. It was so bad.
Yeah.
It was just not good. I mean, we had just come off of the Liverpool match.
Mm-hmm.
It quite frankly could have been a lot worse.
Probably
could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
But I think those drubbings. I think they may have kickstarted something. Now, Blues fans, before you jump on me, hear me out. I am cautiously, and when I say cautiously, I mean cautiously optimistic. Because here's the deal. 4th round of the Carabao Cup, of the FA Cup, we took care of Villa, which was a really, really good victory. It was a wonderful victory. It was at Villa Park, and they looked good. Took care of Palace. That didn't look as good.
Right.
Which had me worried coming into the Etihad.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the deal, and this is just my take on this. Chelsea has proven that they have players, that they've got guys that can play. And Pochettino has proven that he has the ability to be able to put the right combination out on the field for the right team. My question to Pochettino is, if you had the right combination for last year's league champion, wouldn't you want to go with that combination of players pretty much every match from here on out? If you're able to. Now, people, listen to me. I have listened to all the pundits and all this other stuff, and I just want to set this aside. I think, yes, number one, City was not at their best. Not at all. But I think part of the reason why they weren't at their best is because Chelsea was playing at their best. They were playing at a level that was able to frustrate. Disasi and Caicedo. Colwill. They solidified that defense. If you noticed, Colwill made one mistake against Erling Haaland, and Haaland skied it over the top. He made one mistake. The rest of the time, my boy Chilwell and Disasi locked that motherfucker down. Wow, I just dropped the MF like maybe 5 minutes into the podcast. But anyway, they locked him down. Now, people will say, because of what's going on, I have a lot of sympathy for Erling Haaland. He, came from Dortmund, so I really do love the way he plays the game. But I think Haaland is dealing with a lot of stuff right now, and that's okay. That's one thing. But overall, City, you were able to defeat so many other teams while Haaland wasn't playing that. I think that Chelsea deserves some credit. Chelsea deserves some credit here. They played incredibly well. Gallagher was incredible in the midfield. Gusto played his butt off. I mean, and when you saw Sterling do his little T-Rex type run, and you knew Nicholas Jackson was going to try and deliver that ball, you held your breath. I always hold my breath when Jackson does anything, but he delivered a superb ball. And Sterling was able to put it in the back of the net. Now, what this tells me is that we have the beginnings of trust in teammates. And you know as well as I do that when you have trust in your teammates, it allows you to play a little bit looser. It allows you to be a little bit more challenging on the ball because you have faith in the fact that, you know what, my guys behind me, my guys in front of me, they're going to have my back no matter what. And this is what I saw whenever they played City. City had plenty of chances, yes, but Chelsea had just as many chances. I mean, Jackson, no. Jackson had 2 chances. Now, once again, the key word of that sentence is Jackson. He had 2 chances on goal that was like, think about how the game would have changed if Jackson would have scored, if he could have chipped Ederson and made it 2-0. The complexion of that game changes. They get a little bit more swaggy. City starts sweating a little bit more. So what I'm saying is this, is that despite the fact that City was not themselves, I think that part of the contribution to that is that Chelsea frustrated them to a point. Yes, shot differential is incredibly lopsided. Yes, 31 shots to 9. But those 9 shots, 66% of them were on goal. For Man City, 5 out of 30. 5 out of 31. So when you are able to put shots on goal, Chelsea, you have a great chance to score. And when you frustrate a team like you did City that day, I think that, you know what? I'm not giving them all the praise, but what I am saying is that, damn it, Chelsea, you gutted out a freaking, draw with the league champs at their house. And so, I got to give credit where credit's due. Pochettino, stick with this lineup. I guarantee you, if we have this lineup, at least with Disasi, and Colwell back on defense, starting to solidify themselves back there. Ben Chilwell played well. Everybody really contributed. That's the way that Chelsea football needs to play from this point on out. Are they going to make European football? Are they going to make Are they going to make sixth place or above? I don't know. I think the season is pretty much over for them. I'm not sure they challenge to play European football next year. I don't know, but I do know this. What I saw this past match was exactly what we should be seeing from Chelsea. Here's the rub to that. The inconsistency that we have seen from Chelsea. What are we going to see next? Are we going to see another Wolves performance at the Bridge? Are we going, is Liverpool going to put an 8 spot on us this weekend? We don't know. And could that work to Chelsea's advantage? Sure, that could. But it could also be the fact that, there's no consistency there yet, and they have done this roller coaster type thing all season, and this next match is going to put us back down in the doldrums, or the match against City is going to prove to us that we can play with these guys. And it's going to prove to Pochettino that he finally got the combination of players that he needs in order to compete in the Premier League. That's what I'm saying. And by the way, I'm making a prediction. Chelsea 2-2 at the end of regular time. 5-4 in penalty kicks to win the Carabao Cup.
Is this the final?
This is the final. This is it.
Sure.
This is it.
Double
it's
check
us
that.
and Liverpool. Us and Liverpool. Sir. The finale. Yeah, this is it.
Okay, so it's at Wembley then.
Yeah, it's at Wembley. Okay,
lot to unpack.
I'm just saying. Sorry, 2-2, and we win in penalty kicks 5-4. I'm just saying.
That's a gutsy prediction. And again, it's a cup competition, so kind of form tends to go out the window. There was a lot there, so I'm going to try to unpack some things.
I may have pre-gamed a little bit before this guy, so keep that in mind.
The match unfolded with Man City basically keeping the ball.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
And Chelsea were restricted to counterattacks that tended to break down anytime the ball arrived at Nico Jackson's feet. He is currently a liability.
Yes.
Yes. From both the standpoint of if he gets opportunities, he's not going to finish them.
He can't.
And
he's garbage.
It's a confidence thing. I don't know enough about the guy, and he's very young, but he is currently not doing the business. That said,
sure.
There's no real obvious person to bring in and give more of an opportunity. Mudryk has wasted his chances when he has come in. But I think there are a lot of positives to take away from this match from the standpoint of you went toe-to-toe with Man City in their building and came away with a point. That is fine. And actually took the lead, and I would say for the next 5 minutes of the first half and the opening of the second half, had chances to. It's hard to say kill a game off against a team like City because that doesn't happen.
Don't kill that off.
But a second goal would have made things a lot more interesting come the end of it because as the second half wore on, it really began to feel as if City got a goal, they were going to get 2 or 3.
Sure.
The floodgates were going to open.
Sure.
You managed to hold that out, and quite frankly, City's goal came about because of, the ball plinkos around in the box. It happens. It happened to United at the weekend. You're trying your damnedest, and the ball just falls to
Rodrygo.
Ball falls to somebody's feet. I think the bigger concern is if somebody showed you the highlights of this game, you'd say evenly matched. If you watched the game,
no.
you know that Erling Haaland was not Erling Haaland on the day,
and
he probably should have had 3 or 4 goals.
Sure, absolutely.
But he didn't.
He didn't.
And I think there's a huge difference between saying if Nico had taken his chances versus if Erling had taken his chances, because one of them has an XG, right? One of them has an XG.
Yeah,
We kind of expect Erling Haaland to score goals.
Well,
most of the time you see the ball heading toward Nico, you're like, well, let's line up for the goal kick.
Well, the goal differential was like 3.4 for Man City and 1.1 for Chelsea. I get that. I totally get it. What I'm saying is that if we had the right person in the place where Nico Jackson was, it very well could have been.
And if you sign that guy during the summer,
I know.
May be there. Or you know what? Maybe he does progress. I'm not shitting on Nico Jackson. I'm not. And he's young. There's still a lot to go. I'd love to hear from Travis on this because I know he's way deep into Chelsea Twitter, and he gets really pissed off at how players get criticized for specific things. But well, it's an early halftime, so we're going to take our shots here.
It's an Erling
halftime.
Erling halftime.
Evan has backed out of showing up for Sunday Funday this weekend. He may make it, so I will be here holding it down for all you Chelsea fans. Well, I don't want people showing up expecting Professor Evan.
I know.
And they get the rest of us.
You know what?
Okay, so
bruv, right there. That's what I'm saying. Bruv.
What?
Love.
Oh, I thought you were saying
love.
I'm locked up.
Oh no, I didn't do this.
No, she doesn't have a basement.
Oh wow.
That you know of.
He had to dig it.
It will put lotion on.
But we will be here this weekend. I'll be here this weekend. These lovely ladies of Chatham will be here.
Yes.
Big thanks to Chatham Tap. Also, if you follow me on social media, you'll see that I tried the fire-ass new mac and cheese, which, to be fair, should come with a warning that it feeds a small village. It gets served in the large salad bowl, and no, you are not finishing it.
No.
If you do, you're getting rolled out.
Slanty.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Have you had any other new seasonal items?
Yes, I had the club wrap. Dude.
Ooh, yes,
my
I saw
God.
that. That did look
club
good.
wrap was wonderful.
Yeah, I opted for the Mac, the
And
MAC.
I had the fish tacos. I had the fish tacos.
Question
And I'm telling
for you.
For Indiana, it quenches the thirst for
when you
fish
see
tacos.
Mac, okay? Is Mac short for macaroni and macaroni and cheese, or is it an acronym? MAC, macaroni and cheese.
Oh God. Oh no.
Yes. The things that keep me up at night.
Man. I have to be really high to answer that question.
So, well, stick around.
No.
I think my main question was kind of getting to.
You were talking about Nico.
I was talking about Nico, but I think the big question to be asked, and again, cup competition, so how things have been going in the Premier League don't necessarily hold true for this conversation, but based on what you've seen in the last few games especially, obviously it sounds like you're saying, let's keep that same lineup, Puck.
Yes.
Okay, as much as possible.
Yes.
Barring injuries
defense,
or
defense
people being cup tied or
the defense
or what have you.
I think you can play around up front a little bit, but
Diogo Jota is out injured for several months now, so Liverpool will be missing a key performer. But what does Chelsea have to do? We got your prediction, but what does Chelsea have to do on the field to come away with a trophy this year?
Oh God, to come away with this trophy. They have to look at Disasi as they used to look at Thiago Silva. Disasi, I think,
old Thiago Silva.
Yeah, exactly. I think Disasi,
old Thiago Silva.
Whatever. Anyway.
His wife was right, to be fair.
His wife was like, hey, something has to change. Okay.
Apparently, it's take your husband out of the lineup.
Yeah, there you go. Disasi has said by the way he played in this last match, he has put it out there. He has said, look, I am going to be the head of this defense. I'm going to be the heart of this defense. You need to come through me in order to score a goal. And I think that if Disasi, Colwell, Chilwell, if those guys, if they can really and truly play defense like
Can we
they did-
collectively call them Willwell?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway, this is why I love you. I tell you. If they can play defense like they did, because I'm going to say this, and obviously American football has put this.
Is that mainly hoping Mo Salah doesn't score goals?
Well, yeah, that. But American football has said this, like, defense wins championships.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, it's not necessarily translatable through all sport. But if you have a really good defense, it can help you against an attacking offense like Liverpool has. So if we can catch them on the counter, that's the deal. If Enzo can continue to chip the ball, it was a beautiful chip to Sterling. Sterling was just offside when he got it, and he knew he was, so that's why he pulled up. But if he can continue to distribute the ball like he did, and Gallagher can continue to challenge like he did in the midfield, we've got a chance. We've got a big chance, but they have to be sharp. And Pochettino has to continue to play these guys.
Final question.
Yep.
Say nothing else changes, right? You win some games, you lose some games. You finish the season in, you're currently 10th, I believe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You finish the season in 10th, but you win the Carabao Cup this weekend. Does that salvage the season? Does that assuage anything? Or ultimately, do you say this was one to write off and we're still building for the future?
I think it's a combination.
Okay.
I think that it's like, okay, you know what? I think if we win the Carabao Cup, I think that's a huge boost to the club's ego, to the fans' ego. I think it's enough to get Pochettino across the line. I think that, if we end up 10th still in the season, cool. I mean, I think that's okay because we have shown that we can at times, because we're going to have to beat Liverpool. Think about it, though. We would have, in successive weeks, literally had a draw with the champions, and we would have had to beat the possible champions of the league this week. So I think that if we can show that 2-week kind of run, I think that's enough. And if we play Liverpool hard and we play them solid and Liverpool still wins, I still think that Chelsea can hold their head up high. I think that then we have to continue to play in the league. And after that, we do have, in the FA Cup, we've got Leeds coming.
Well, I was going to say, I think one of the biggest slip-ups that I could actually see happening here is if you beat Liverpool,
yes,
you're losing to Leeds. Because
I agree.
The energy and excitement of that, and probably partying for a trophy will have a deleterious effect. If you lose to Liverpool, God help Leeds. I honestly, I think that is absolutely true.
I hope so.
Then you go into March, away to Brentford, and that's not an easy
it's
one.
Not easy.
But I think where they are right now and what you've been doing as a team,
we can challenge.
Should be able to come out.
We can challenge.
Chelsea, Newcastle, it's hard to say because of Newcastle have just had so many injuries, have been up and down with their consistency. That Arsenal match.
That's the big one right there, man.
This is going to be a proper London derby.
Yes.
I think we're definitely going to have to. Please be a Saturday. It's a Saturday at 8:30 in the morning. We'll be having breakfast, folks. That's going to be a good one. Hold on, wait.
Breakfast.
March 16th, and then you finish the month out with Burnley. So only 4 games in March is nice too. You're not a full schedule.
Right.
Can rest as needed. Hopefully, get guys back from injury.
Kunku,
I think you're in a good place.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's going to take a performance against Liverpool because with Jurgen Klopp announcing that he's leaving,
they're going to want to win it for him.
They're going to want to bring him at least one and last trophy.
But here's what I'm saying too: Chelsea is a team that is on the up and coming, and they are wanting to prove themselves. And so I think that I don't know. I just think that there is enough story at play there that it can equal out, that the teams can play, and I think it'll be a good match. In my heart of hearts, I do believe it's 2-2. Chelsea wins on penalty. But in my brain, I think it's going to be 3-2 Liverpool at the end of full time. Oh, there we go. And so with the transition,
That was abrupt.
we talk about the Red Devils from Manchester.
Yes. On
Manchester
a,
United.
let's see,
Man.
7-game
Yeah,
unbeaten streak.
dude.
Let's see. 2, 4. So
Yeah.
maybe since before that. So I think
Okay.
Nottingham Forest. Yeah, they got beat there. Villa, West Ham, Liverpool draw. Oh, wait, this is going the wrong direction. So Nottingham Forest at the very end of December. So since the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
United have not been beat.
It is impressive. I mean, the record.
It's frustrating
The record is
to
impressive.
watch, to see us need to rescue games in the manner that we do.
Right.
But the counter to that is we've rescued those games.
Yes, exactly. That's where I was going with my questions. But you give your take.
Well, I think my biggest takeaway is I think they've finally figured out that you got to have Marcus, Rasmus, and Alejandro on the field at the same time. That's our front three. I'm not going to shit on Anthony. I'm not going to even have that conversation. It's very clear to me that interchanging Marcus and Garnacho on the wings, because they both seem just as comfortable. And quite frankly, we've had a better record. I think he probably wants to play on the left, but Garnacho has helped us more by being on the right than Marcus being on the right.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm a little concerned about Luke Shaw going off early in the match because I think he's huge for us, balancing things out, being able to get forward. And we don't really know the extent of it yet.
Okay.
But definitely that front three has been clicking. And I think they're, you can look at it, and when you've got your available players, you're having the same conversation. It's very clear to me that having, a healthy and focused Casemiro, young kid Kobe, however you want to pronounce it, I'm not sure.
Kobe.
Bruno pulling the strings, and then the front three of Højlund, Rashford, and Garnacho. That six right there is pretty solid. We've struggled to have a consistent back line because of injuries and a variety of things. But I tell you, Maguire has come in and played like a veteran player is supposed to. Johnny Evans has done the same.
Okay.
Lindelof's been asked to play out of position. Definitely, I think Wan-Bissaka getting back is going to help out because then if we need to use Dalot on the left, we can. Malacia, I believe, is getting back to training, so hopefully he can get out there. I mean, it's not an excuse. It's a reality of the game that players get hurt, and you got to go spend time without that. But it's also true that when everybody's back and available, that's the best problem to have. What's our best combination of 11 players, right?
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing from United right now is belief in one another, trust in one another, and the notion that giving up a goal does not end things.
Yes.
And this is the United that I fell in love with, that if you score two, we're scoring three. Yeah. If you score two, we're going to score three, and we're going to be exciting. We're going to have some fun. I mean, the goals Højlund scored this weekend were absolute poacher's goals, right?
That's what he does.
Keeps himself in the play, bad back pass defensively. He runs it in, takes it past the goalkeeper, and scores.
Yep.
The other one is a mishit shot, and as a striker, he knows to just shape his body.
Yep.
I mean, Alan Shearer was like, that's a brilliant goal, and it is. If you don't follow the sport, you think, oh, that's lucky, it's a deflection or whatever.
Yeah.
No, you watch him. He turns.
I think
he turns that ball into goal.
I think most people take that off their chest to bring it down to their foot.
Oh, no, they don't. No, from that range, you're lucky to be able to do anything with it because this is a hard shot that's mishit. He just turned it in. He recognized what he needed to do.
Let me fit. Most people who aren't strikers take that and think, oh, I got to put it down on my foot. Højlund has the sense of a striker. He knows. He's like, nope, it's just going to hit here, and I'm going to be able to
box in the box kind of vibe.
That's it. That's exactly. And I am going to talk him up, guys. That's exactly what you would have done. It's exactly what you would have done as a striker in any level. The rest of us would have been like, oh, I got to put this at my foot. A true striker understands that, nope, that is going to come straight off the chest, and that's going to go straight into goal.
My friend, if I could have done shit like this, we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation.
So question number one.
I appreciate you bigging me up, and I would have had the thought and then gone, gosh, that hit me really hard. Why is the ball in row Z right now after hitting me in the shoulder?
I'm telling you. So question number one.
Okay.
Are you the happiest man on earth that Man U has finally decided to get Højlund the ball? I mean, my God, we've been talking about
Rasmus Højlund is the happiest man on earth that they've decided to get him the ball.
But I mean, do you think that has contributed to?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. First off, I think taking Antony out of the lineup has definitely helped with that.
Which had to be hard. It had to be hard.
For Ten Hag because of the relationship they've had. But when you recognize that a player is A, not performing, and B, not doing the things that he needs to be doing, right? I'm sure somebody has pulled him aside and said, hey, man, you got to deliver across every once in a while or the defense doesn't have to respect you.
Yes.
Right? They can sit off you knowing that you're going to cut back on your left foot and hope that you really get a good shot from the edge of the box. That's it. Your cute little spins and all that stuff. And look, there's a player in there. You don't play for Ajax for several years and do the things that they did without it.
Right.
But you also have to work to make it to that next level.
Yes.
I've seen nothing about his game progressing when I can look at other players and see that they have. So that's disappointing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that a part of it was Marcus and Alejandro are told when you receive the ball and you see the whites of the eyes, you go at them.
Yeah.
You absolutely go at them.
Yeah.
I think the second part of that conversation is when you're getting an overload, when you're getting a double team, that's when you either got to drop it back, make them respect and reset, or you put it in an early cross. And that's what wasn't happening.
Yep.
So Højlund was feasting on scraps. The first 6 goals that he scored in the Premier League were unassisted. That's him just picking up the ball where he can find it.
Yeah.
Which, again, box in the box, kind of a, poacher, what have you. But you got to give a guy like that service. And if you give them service, they'll score you goals, and that's what he's doing right now.
So, second question. How concerned are you about Rashi?
Not at all. I'm really not.
Okay.
I am, he needs to be consistent. And when he is, he's one of the best players in England, if not the world.
Yeah.
When he's not, it is frustrating. He's very, very frustrating. But he's not keeping somebody else that should be coming through out of a position.
Yeah.
Rashford is incredibly important and integral to the success of this Manchester United team, and it would be, I think, foolish. The only reason you'd sell him is because you can get a ton of money for him from the English perspective.
I'm not sure you do that.
I just don't think it would make any sense.
Yeah,
unless you have an absolute person that you're like, you're going to come in and hit the ground running. No, I don't see it.
All right.
I don't see it at all.
Last question. Where do you think Bruno has been as far as his leadership these past few months? Where do you think you see him or see kind of his effect on people, or has he not had an effect on people? What's going on with Bruno?
Well, one, as a player, he's one of the top 5 central midfielders in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Without question.
Sure.
As a captain, there are question marks. I think he has high expectations, which elevates other people, but I think also his body language and his pouting and yelling at the officials sometimes can, you tune it out.
Sure.
I think it's a conversation to be had. I think the senior players need to have a meeting with themselves and with Ten Hag and say, this is how, how are we going to represent our leadership moving forward?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a Ratcliffe conversation. I don't think he should be getting involved at that level. I think he needs to empower Ten Hag. But I think there's a question to be had. The issue is, who would you make captain? We've had Harry Maguire, and that didn't go well.
Right.
We've had Bruno, and the thought is he leads by example as a player, but there are times where he's just kind of pouty.
Eriksen is coming back.
Nah.
No?
The inconsistency of him playing.
Okay. Yep.
Right? He comes off the bench. He's not going to be a regular starter. I don't know if he's the captain for Denmark. He might be. But he's kind of a quiet personality, it seems.
No, I get that. That's where you need a Casemiro that be like, no, I got
Well,
this.
and that's what's disappointing, is Casemiro is kind of our Thiago Silva. He's not really brought the level of veteran play and leadership that we would have hoped for. And the fact is the legs are gone in both of those guys.
Yeah.
So we are squeezing the last drops that these players have at this level out of them.
Good point.
If Casemiro can make it to the end of the season playing the way he's been playing, I'll be fine with it. But let's face it, I mean, you watch some of these games, if you're really watching, he's I know Ten Hag was like, oh, he's being treated unfairly by the refs. He's really not. He's actually been given some leniency when he could have picked up a second yellow here and there.
Yeah.
So and that's a guy who's played this balls out committed style of soccer that now just doesn't get there in time.
Yeah.
So what would have previously been like, oh, that's a great, good, hard, solid, clean tackle is now a fuck. You nearly broke that guy's leg.
That is true. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are now to the part of the show that we talk about the drunken crowd. Wow, there's not a lot to say other than, dude, Monterey. I hope to be in that stadium with you.
Well, yes,
for the World
yes.
Cup. I will say that every single time.
Did everyone see the worldie that Pooley scored the other day for AC Milan, and they still lost the game? Frustrating, but
very frustrating.
It is great to see. We had a situation yesterday where 3 Americans were on the field in a Champions League knockout round game
against my
just phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal. It's never happened. And look, these aren't garbage minutes. Two of them started. We've got Pooley starting. We've got we've got McKinney and Musa and Weah. All starting, getting regular minutes. Josh Sargent scoring for fun at Norwich City. Folks, it's an exciting time to be a U.S. men's national team fan. I know some of you don't like Berhalter, but we don't get everything we want all at once, okay? Let's just enjoy the fact that right now we have a generation of American players that are actually turning heads in all of these European leagues, contributing at the highest level, starting on a regular basis, and with a couple years to go, we have the ability to put together a real competitive team here that could go deep in a World Cup. I'm not going to predict we're going to win the thing.
No.
It is on home soil, so anything could happen. But I am going to say that if this team shows up and all of these guys play to the best of their ability, they are one of the top 10 teams in the world.
And even though, even though Matt Turner, the team lost, he turned in a really solid performance. I was watching, Forrest, thank you. And in the Premier League, he got a clean sheet against West Ham. They won 2-0. And
no one denies his shot-stopping ability. It's just that he came to the game late, so it's his feet.
But I was very, very happy.
Yeah, for sure.
For what they did. And so, we've got a lot of guys out there who really can, play internationally. Yeah. And so now when they come back, it's up to Berhalter to make sure that these guys gel, to make sure that they can play together, and to make sure that they can represent the United States really well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, quick rundown: Ivory Coast beat Nigeria to take the AFCON. It was a fun tournament. There were good upsets. Unfortunately, it was marred by some off-field incidents with reporters and fans and interactions with coaches, and the level of officiating and at least the question mark of corruption still lingers. And it's a shame because the African game has really come through in leaps and bounds. And a huge shout out to Sebastian Allaire, who this time last year was recovering from testicular cancer. Wasn't sure how he would come back, and he comes back and he scores the winner.
Freaking winner.
And scored more than that throughout the tournament. So exciting. And then in the Asian Cup, we had Qatar defeating Jordan. And I don't really want to talk about anything there.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what that does is it brings us to the Hey Aaron segment. It's our new segment that we are doing, and everybody looked at me because I blew the whistle. We are going to give out the weekly yellow card and red card to whomever Aaron chooses to give the yellow card and red card out to. So, Aaron, as as the honorary referee, I am going to go ahead and flash this yellow card. Who gets it for you this week?
For me, it's a little bit of a kind of shared between FIFA and Qatar and Saudi Arabia and the Arab Emirates and all that stuff. It's only a yellow card because I don't begrudge these countries for wanting to establish themselves in the game. However, there's a bit of sports washing going on, and I think a lot of people see it. I think it's a bigger deal for FIFA.
Sure.
And I go back and forth. There's the Gary Neville take on things of, hey, if we shine a light on it, we're going to force them to behave by the rules that the rest of us have to behave by. And then a lot of people say that that's naive, and if you don't punish and if you don't keep them out, I don't know. I go back and forth on that one.
Sure.
Personally, I'm just disappointed. Saudi Arabia is getting the 2034 World Cup, and they have the next edition of the AFCON in 2028, I guess would be. So if the next decade manages to shine such a bright light on the corruption and misogyny and brutality of these regimes, and that's what we're going to call them, and they are forced to change at least some of their ways because of it, then yes, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But if in 10 years you still can't wear a Pride T-shirt to a soccer game
it's a problem.
In that part of the world, then all we've done is line the pockets of people who are already rich.
Well, and I totally get your apprehension on that because, not everybody in Saudi Arabia is in favor of this. I mean, obviously, probably
Sure.
A lot of the female population is like, this is some old bullshit. Because, it was, 10, 12 years ago that they could actually go to school.
Right.
They could actually get education.
Right.
And it's like, oh, my God, what's going on? So, dude, that's a great take. All right, here's a hard one. Who gets the red card for this week?
Well, this could just be every week, it seems, with what we're seeing going on in the world. But big red card to the leadership of the GOP and the leadership in Russia for attempting to cause undue influence in American politics. We've known it for years. We were lied to by multiple people. We're still being lied to. It's just a sham. I'm it was one thing when one party put out policies where I'm just like, I can't agree with your policies. I think it's poor. I don't think it's going to do what you want it to do. I think it harms people, yada, yada.
Yeah.
There's an intellectual conversation to be had here. But when you have clearly run out of ideas and sold your soul to America's nemesis, our enemy, and by the way, these are the same people who 10 years ago were mad, or 14 years ago, whatever, were mad that a person put up for a cabinet position in the Obama administration had historical ties to the American Communist Party. Yeah. And now you're openly getting on your knees for Putin. You're openly denying aid to a country that has, without us firing a shot, we've been able to cripple 75% of Russia's military. Yeah. So I think it's a disgrace. I don't think it's name calling or beyond the pale to say these people are traitors and have betrayed the ideals of this country.
Yeah.
Look, if your main argument is Joe Biden's old,
it's kind of lame.
I mean, they're both old.
Yeah.
There's 3.5 years difference between them.
Yep.
And that's old news. That's old news.
Yes.
They ain't getting any younger. They were the oldest candidates in 2020.
Right.
So focus on what's actually happening and the fact that our infrastructure is being rebuilt, that we are trying to make it better for people in this country to do things. I mean, the inflation reduction, more jobs, infrastructure, so many things that should be the actual conversation here. So big fat red card to a whole bunch of people who do not have America's best interests in mind while draping themselves in the flag and the cross, Christian nationalists. So red card to you, and fuck around and find out.
There you go. And I'm just going to add, also, if you have not seen Jon Stewart's take on, Gustavo. If you have not seen Jon Stewart's take on Tucker Carlson's interview with Putin, oh my goodness, that guy is
I would have red carded him, but he's just so not worth the time and energy. It's a shame that people pay attention to a guy like that, because he's been a fraud. And you know, I've always said, what's worse? Being fooled because you don't know better and espousing these things, or knowing better.
Oh, yeah.
And espousing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Tucker Carlson's not a stupid person.
He knows.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yep.
And he's doing it to save his ass.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the end.
Soccer with a side of politics,
of our
folks.
show. You know what? Hey, it's all about the world.
It's the asparagus on the side that makes your pee stink. American politics.
I love it. Oh, my God. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of our show, and now we are at the...
We are.
You have to...
Going to be on the gram. Going to make the gram.
Greatest segment of all time. This is the Aaron's Final Thoughts segment, and my friend gets to just drop some knowledge on us. Guys, listen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Blues fans, Reds fans, we love you, and please make sure you show up at Chatham Tap each and every weekend that you can. Like I said, you know, I've got family that's going on this weekend, but you're in my heart, and Aaron will be here representing us, all that good stuff. But we love you, okay? And so now, I will shut up.
I just had a thought. Are Bluey and Blue's Clues related?
Ooh.
It's like his Australian cousin.
Well, maybe. Oh, my. Mare?
Again, things that keep me up late at night.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron's final thoughts.
Hey, folks, it's been Black History Month. It's still Black History Month. There...
For an extra day.
Is just, for an extra day. Threw that in for free. I want to say that it seems so silly at times, the way we're like, oh, it's National Pizza Day, or it's National Hot Dog Day, or we've decided to make a month. But you know what? It is important because it does raise awareness. And to me, it especially raises awareness to the fact that a whole bunch of people who did nasty shit a long time ago are now in a position of power to say it's not okay to teach the things that we did, right? The people who threw rocks and tried to keep all those schoolgirls out of a school in Little Rock, Arkansas, and all that stuff now don't want you to learn that that's exactly what they did. So I think it's a net positive for this information, and I think this man right here deserves a lot of credit because he goes into schools every day and teaches and drops knowledge and lets the kids get a perspective, young adults I should say, get a perspective that they probably would not have otherwise given a different professor, perhaps at a different school. So I think it's very important, and as a bit of a tie-in, I think it was really, really great that we had the All-Star game here in Indianapolis, and it got to highlight a lot of Indiana Black history. Madam C.J. Walker comes to mind immediately, but there's so many people deserving of it. I mean, we had, Reggie and Oscar Robertson were front and center at this event. Oscar's getting a statue at Crispus Attucks. I mean, it costs you nothing to learn a little bit more. And if you've got a black friend, ask them, about their history, their family, because their history is your history, their family is your family, as long as that's all what we believe. And that's what I believe, and it's what we believe, and it's why we're here. It's part of the reason we do this. If you've just been following us on soccer, watch the back catalog, because we are here to talk about all the things, and especially the things that divide us, because if we don't talk about them, we don't get any closer. So I'm proud of Indiana. I'm proud of this country. I'm proud of Black History Month. And I'm excited to see where we go in the future together. So I'm going to say hashtag Black People Vote this week.
Oh. I get to say, with all humility and honor, hashtag say gay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are the Evan and Aaron Show presents the Red and the Blue Soccer Chat. We love you. Peace. My man. Yes. Yes.